Mr. Balala.
Mr. Balala, you have been a globetrotter yourself. Why do you feel that the UAE is the most safest and successful country in the world?
Well, Dubai, I would say that for Dubai, because I saw Dubai evolve, change from what it was 30 years ago to what it is today. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. It's a case study. And because of the leaders' preparation for the future, they have prepared the country in all aspects. Infrastructure, communication, governance, administration, every aspect has been prepared for Dubai to advance to the future. They call their airlines Emirates Airlines, hello tomorrow. It's true, they live in 2020. The rest of the countries in the world are yet to catch up. Sheikh Mohammed said 3 people went to the moon, but only 1 person is remembered, Armstrong. We want to be Armstrong. So the vision is there and the application is there. And they use the best. So Dubai has a great future in front of it. 2020 is coming and I'm sure it will be successful. They're expecting 25 million tourists from all over the world to come to Dubai for 6 months, and that's in 6 months. I mean, that's a great achievement for such a tiny city-state as Dubai. Everybody in the world knows where Dubai is and what Dubai is all about. Imagine. So I am confident, and also because of the services provided, fingertip services, everything's online. I mean, you can travel to any destination, you can come from any destination without any problems. Nobody asks you where is your ID, who you are, Indian, Pakistani, Muslim, Christian, nobody. You're safe, you feel safe. You feel that you also belong to Dubai. That's why a lot of people have this attachment to Dubai. And recently, the government of Dubai has issued a 10-year visa to investors, which is very encouraging. And this is a good thing. I hail and commend the leaders of the UAE. I think it's a heaven in the Middle East. It's also the hub of commerce in the entire greater Middle East. So the future of Dubai and the UAE is bright.
Mr. Balala, after completion of your graduation, which was your first job? Can you elaborate on this?
My first job was with Kuwait Airways as a professional. I worked for 6 years in the engineering department, in the technical development section. I was in charge of issuing technical reports to the engineering department every 3 months. And my job was to get this information from all the engineering departments, from all our engineers, and the aircraft itself. As soon as the aircraft lands, the black box is brought to me. I back it up, and then we provide the information in that black box to all the engineering department. So I was in charge of 11 Airbuses and 3 747s, jumbo jets, and 3 737. Kuwait Airlines had the best record at that time. Kuwait was one of the richest countries in the world. It was placed 3rd per capita at that time, GDP. And we were the first airline to initiate the auto landing provision in the entire Middle East. So we had that facility way back before anybody else had. And that was a great achievement. Our record is very good in Kuwait Airways. I left in 1988 and joined my brothers in Kenya. We started our own company now. And I never looked back.
Mr. Balala, you seem to have held a very challenging and sensitive position at Kuwait Airways. How has been your success there?
Well, I went to Boeing, I've been to Airbus, I studied everything about aircraft. and it's the safest mode of travel in the whole world. I mean, it's safer than rail and road and sea, whatever other transportation. Air is still the safest mode, and I think this security issue in the airline industry is a sham. It's a sham. It should be removed. It's not user-friendly. Police, for that matter, police administration in the country is not user-friendly. Everything should change. So the security at the airports should be user-friendly and reduce the time. Why should we travel by air if it's going to take us as long as it takes us by road or by rail? Why? And why the discomfort? The harassment? Why? We're human beings. We should be treated with dignity. There's no dignity in those searches at the airports and all that. No. They should be removed instantly.
Mr. Balala, you once mentioned that you were involved at Kuwait Times, holding a very senior editorial position. What are some of the most memorable events that you had covered in the Middle East region?
After I joined Kuwait Airways, I had to struggle and make more money because I was already married at that time. I had a child, I had a wife who was expecting and wanted to come join me in Kuwait. So I had to look for another job, and I found a job as a proofreader in a newspaper, Kuwait Times. It was an independent or so-called independent institution at that time, and I joined it, got a job as a proofreader. I did well. The editor-in-chief spotted me and put me in charge of the editorial, and made me eventually the ombudsman of the newspaper because of my prowess in the language and as well as my passion. In anything I do it well. And at that time, Kuwait Times was under great supervision from the government because we covered the Iraq-Iran war, I covered the Lebanon war, the invasion of Lebanon by Israel, the removal of Arafat from Beirut. And these were tragic stories. And they gave me sleepless nights, but they taught me a lot of things. The Iran-Iraq war was a great misfortune, really. A lot of people died for nothing. And it just goes to show you that foreign interference is a liability to every country. They should not allow other countries to interfere in their own affairs. Never, never, never.
Can you briefly also mention about your family life?
I was married when I was 20. It was a challenge for my mom. If you're a man enough, get married. Don't fool around with other people's children. And suddenly my wife was pregnant, and I had to get married, and because I didn't want my child to be a bastard, and, accused me of all sorts of things. So I got married early. I struggled in life. My mother was the pillar of my strength. The whole family. She guided us. She persevered. She looked at us. She looked after us as a hen would look after his chicks. And when she died in 2015 at 86, she smoked more than me. She ate everything, but she was fat. She was smiling all the time. She was pleasant to everybody. She exuded optimism and kindness and always smiling. I would look at her sometimes. For hours she would put makeup and make herself look beautiful, and then, greet everybody with so much kindness. And that would fascinate me, and I'm trying to copy her.
May Mama's soul rest in peace.
May her soul rest in peace.
Mr. Balala, why do you feel that the Kenyan constitution is one of the best in the world?
Because in Kenya, the Kenyans are sovereigns. They're like the king and the queen in England. They're the same as the president in America and wherever. So in Kenya, the constitution is so good. Why would I want to be a British citizen if I'm going to be a subject? Why would I want to be a UAE national if I'm going to be a subject, or a Saudi national if I'm going to be a subject? In Kenya, I'm equal to the king, to whoever rules. I can sue anyone. I have my Bill of Rights. There are I think Kenyans should be proud of their constitution, and Africans in general. The Indians are in trouble. I pity them, really. And a lot of people in this world have as a right to those instruments of governance, and yet do not know anything about them because they're ignorant. They haven't read them, or they have not been taught, or they have not been exposed to them. The governments, it should be mandatory. If you're going to vote, you should be informed, and be informed fully, like the way you're being informed in school. They should teach you everything about what you are, about your nationalistic father, where you belong, what is important, what is the important thing. They should teach you all, and then allow you to live as a free man in this freedom.
Finally, Mr. Balala, is there anything else you'd like to mention before we wrap up this very informative interview?
My simple advice to everybody is to look at yourself. You cannot transform others before you transform yourself. Charity begins at home, but justice begins with your neighbor. You cannot claim justice for yourself before you give it to your neighbor. And you cannot give others before you give your own. When you're born, all faculties are intact in you. You don't need any education to enhance your originality. You go to school, sometimes you become stupid. You get confused. You learn another culture, another way, which is not your own. It's not your instincts. You're not allowed to practice your natural abilities, your natural instincts. As an African, as a European, as an American, as an Englishman, as an Indian, they should allow everyone to be who they are. And then correlate, and then come together as peoples of this world. And those who claim to be kinder than the rest, or claim to be holier than the rest, should prove it through actions, not words, not Allah Akbar, no, actions. ما جئت إلا لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق, Muhammad said. I only came to improve the behavior of human beings. To improve the behavior of human beings. Make them better, make them more humans. Jesus said two things. Help the needy, cast away the hypocrites. Look at our leaders. Where's the church? Where's the Islamic institutions? Where are the Indian, the Hindu institutions, the Buddhist institutions, the Confucian institutions? Where is the Lord? Who is responsible? Where's the UN? Who is the UN? I think we're in trouble. We need to change. Sheikh Mohammed said, if you don't change, you'll be changed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balala. That was a lovely interview with you. Thank you.